Awesome. Okay, great. All right, I don't have any special prop usage planned today. I'm just going to sit up on a thing as I tend to do and be assaulted with love by my dog. I've been reading this book. It's so funny. I think the longer I've been deeply into this practice, the more I feel like every time I read something really profound, I'm like, do you practice yoga too? Because I see the yoga in this. And the book I'm reading is Grit by Angela Duckworth, and she's talking particularly in this section about how we perceive talent to be and how we perceive success to be. Like, it's so easy to look at somebody that seems to be doing something so well or on such another level. It's easy to look at that and say like, oh, well, that person's very gifted in this, and we value their innate gifts. And yeah, a lot of people that do get to like that next level of something, they tend to have a little bit of that thing that can't be taught, you know? But if you don't develop a skill, even if it's just a talent, something that came fairly naturally, we're never going to really get to that point where we achieve that like really great connection, a really great level out of it. And I spoke about this backwards, so I'm gonna put myself for a second. So when I first started teaching, and I've been doing it for a long time now, it came very easily to me to be able to start to explain how all of the different movement practices that I go through work. And people said, oh, well, you're just a gifted teacher. And I said, no, I don't. I think it was a byproduct of how long I spent struggling a lot to learn how to use my body, to learn how, like, as a dancer and as a fit person, like I was not strong growing up. I was not coordinated in the least and busted my butt. And I learned stuff about bodies. And then like through that, I've been able to hopefully like bring this in something that I can share with others. So really just reminding ourselves that it's not about like whether or not we are like inclined to do the thing. If we're passionate about doing the thing, if we keep coming back and doing the thing, that's when the magic happens. Like even our favorite musicians did not just get that way rolling out of bed in the morning. They got that way rolling out of bed in the morning, realized that they loved it and they wanted to keep doing it until they went to bed at night. But we'll just do yoga for an hour today. Take your index finger and your thumb together. Bring the squishy spot at the bottom of your thumbs to the center of your forehead. Brush outwards towards your temples a few times. And then from the sides of your nose, brushing outwards towards your temples along your cheekbones. From your temples going down to your chin, on your jawline. From the sides of your nose down to your chin along your laugh lines. Ma'am. And then rubbing your fingertips underneath and behind your ears, feeling for the soft spots and lifting upwards from the bony spots that help your spine to lift up a little bit taller. Keeping that lift as you take a nice big breath in. Then letting your hands relax down into your lap, closing your eyes if it feels comfortable to you, but thinking of something that you are willing to continue to invest in for the next hour, something that you want to focus on. Maybe you're going to bring your tapas, your repetition, your dedication to your breath, or trying to be fluid, or maybe you're trying to consider a mantra, a phrase, and a mental state you'd like to keep up while we go through. Take another deep breath in through your nose. Big exhale through your mouth. Again, like that. For 3 on. Right leg as you let your left leg extend up just as far away from you as is comfortable. Take 3 more deep breaths, letting your belly and your hips soften. Gently relaxing the thigh a little bit softer in towards your torso. Placing your left hand on your left hip, you're going to open your right leg. Your inner thigh, a little bit of a stretch. Jezebel, what in the devil are you doing? Bring your leg across the body over to the other side so that now you're coming into a twist. Hey, here. Soften your belly. Relaxing your right shoulder. Just one more breath out. Back to your back. You're going to take your left leg and draw it in. Start to let your right leg slide out away from you just as much as is comfortable. Taking another 3 long, deep breaths, relaxing your left thigh in. Right hand and put it on your right hip just to try to keep the hip mostly steady. And just sort of open up the left thigh until you feel some release in your inner thigh muscles just for a moment. And then you're going to take the leg across the body, moving into a twist. So you'll roll your knee over and then take your left arm open to your side. Letting your belly soften into that twist. One more exhale. Then coming back to your back, set the left foot down and then put your right ankle on your left knee. You can take your right arm in between your legs and hold on to your left thigh, drawing those legs in closer to you. If you're feeling a little tense in your neck, of course, grab something and put it behind your head, giving yourself some support. Sticking with the breath and continuing to do all these moves that are going to help the hips open up. One more breath in. Deep breath out. And relaxing your left leg down. You're going to slide the right leg over more over. So now you're crossed thigh on top of thigh. And then you're going to take both of the legs and kind of turn them over towards the left. So you'll come into a twist again. And this one gets a little bit deeper into the outer thighs. So one more breath out. Bring the legs back to the center. Unwind your right leg. Set that foot down and put your left ankle on your right knee. From here, holding on to the right leg and drawing it in towards you, relaxing your hips down. Don't worry about how close you get those legs in towards your chest. One more breath in. Softening something as you breathe out. And then release your right foot down. Slide your left leg and cross it all the way over. And then let the legs drop over towards the right so that you have a little twist of the spine, but that big twistiness in the legs. And it doesn't have to be a big twist over. Just a little drop down in the knees. Take 2 more exhales. Back to the center, unwinding your legs, sending your arms and your legs out long, creating a lot of space through your spine, wiggling out maybe a little longer to the right and the left side a few times. Take another full breath in. Soften when you breathe out. And then bring your knees into your chest. We're going to bring ourselves up to a seat, and when you get there, if you want to grab something and put it underneath your hips, just a little bit easier, you're welcome to do so. Take your arms up, interlace your fingers and press them up into the air, just slightly in front of your head, so you're a little bit longer all the way through the back. Take another big breath in. And then on your exhale, relax your arms down. Slide your right hand out to the right a little bit more and lift them long through that left side. And then not so much that you're going down towards the floor, but that you're really finding this lift upwards through that left side. Try to relax the back of your neck. Take another inhale. Soften as you exhale. Back up through the center and take your left hand down, maybe crawl it out a little bit and then stretch as long as you can through your right side. Letting the arm be more above your nose than above your ear. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Up. Bring your fingertips back behind you so that they're supporting you as you lift your heart up and forward, and take your gaze up, drawing your shoulders back, getting a little stretch across your chest. One more breath in. Relaxing as you exhale. Take your arms out in front of you, cross one arm over the other, and then either wrap your feathers up into eagle pose, or you can of course let the hands be separate or hold onto your shoulders if any of those things feel more comfortable than trying to wrap your palms together. But which one of these variations you've chosen, press your elbows down and forward and feel that space behind your ears lift up just to make sure you're still sitting up as tall as you're able. Big breath in. Breathing out. And unwind your arms and just cross the opposite elbow on top. And you may find it easier or more difficult to wrap the hands, and you still have the separated or hugging the shoulders variation to choose from. One more breath in. One more breath out. And unwind your arms. Go ahead and take those hands back behind you. Lift your chest up again, getting your heart out in front of your shoulders. Just seeing if it feels any different after working both sides. Take another breath in. Soften your body as you exhale, reach your arms up. Take a nice big breath in, and then as you exhale, side bend over towards that right side, reaching out longer through your left. Inhaling, and then exhaling. Coming back up through the center, big breath in, and side bend over towards your left side, reaching out a little bit longer through your right. One more round of breath. Come on up. And you're going to move onto your hands and knees. And start by sending your right leg back behind you, sort of wiggle back and forth and relax your calf and work out the bones on the bottom of your foot. All the way through the foot, rather. The bones go all the way through that darn foot. Then you're going to bring that right foot forward towards your hands. Place your hands up on your front thigh. Let the weight shift forward. Just a little, maybe a little bit more than you're comfortable with at first. And if you need to back up at all, you can listen to yourself there, but try to go a little bit further forward. And try to stay forward by pushing down in your foot, pushing down in your hands, and lifting your chest up. And then go one arm at a time, lifting up into that low crescent lunge. See if you can get your heart in front of your arms. See if you're going to bend the arms and create a little bit more space around those shoulders. One more breath in. And on your exhale, take your hands down. Take an inhale, just lift your heart up and forward. And on your exhale, pull your hips back. Pause here for a moment the first time. Try doing this with your toes relaxed forwards. There's nothing wrong with lifting the toes up to do this, but it tends to be just a little bit more jarring into the hamstrings. So it's sometimes more relaxing in the hamstrings to let those toes drop forward. Go ahead and move forward into that lunge again, bending into your right leg. And then pull your hips back, feeling that right leg get just a little bit straighter. See how it feels. Let the breath be long. And once more, moving the hips forward. And then pulling your hips back and pause there in that slightly straighter leg for a moment, relaxing your right hip down and back. And pull your right leg back in so that you'll take that knee down next to your left. And then you'll start by sending the left leg back, curling the toes under and pressing the weight back and forth, working out the bones of the foot, working through the calf too. And then bringing that foot forward, up between your hands, and then your hands go up onto your thigh, pressing down on the foot and lifting your chest up. So you can get the hips maybe just a little bit further forward than you tend to start off with. If you need to back up, that's okay, but test out where your limits might be. And then sending an arm up, then both arms up. When you go one at a time, it's a little easier to stay forward in the hips and the heart. Try to lift your heart up just a little bit higher. Breathe in a little bit more deeply. And then as you exhale, taking your hands down. And then you're going to start to tilt your hips back. You might need to wiggle the foot forward a little bit more to start off with. And then let the toes relax forward. Let the hip relax back and let your legs start to get a little bit straighter and a little bit looser through your hamstrings. One more round of breath. And coming forward into a lunge again, you might have to shift through your foot as you lean forward and lift your chest up a little bit. And then nice and slow breath, start to pull your leg back and straight-ish it. And then coming forward again through a bent leg. And pull the hips back. And one more time, just moving forward. And then pulling it back and pausing. When you have the hips pulled back, just seeing if there's anything else there that you can soften, anything else that might have changed. And then you're going to pull that leg all the way back, and you're going to go ahead and just lay down on one of your sides. So if you want to start off facing this way or whichever way, depending on your space. You want to try to lay down where you have one really long line that's not bent between your hand, the arm that you're laying on, and down to your toes, because we're going to tend to come here because it's a little bit easier to stay balanced, but it's fine if you're not totally balanced because you're already on the floor, so not much is going to go on there. Go ahead and take your top leg and draw it up. If you have the foot on your knee, just don't press your foot into your leg. And then take your hand up to your thigh here, and you want to kind of open it up. What's going to help with this is to actively press your hips forward and then unclench your jaw. Because if you do happen to fall over, that's really just your body figuring out what doesn't work. So you might as well let the body explore while you're in this rather comfortable, safe place and already laying down on the ground. One more breath out. And then you're going to relax that leg. Roll over to the other side. We'll flip around because it's not facing you. Weird. And then take your top leg up. Then you're going to start to pull that leg back and push your hips forward. So there's going to be that tendency to rest back towards the squishier part of your bum. You want to try to cut forward towards the slightly flatter side part of your bum, and one side's going to be way easier or way more accessible for your body to tap into than the other, and it's always different. One more breath out. Relax that top leg. Go ahead and roll over onto your belly. When you get onto your belly, reach your arms back behind you, interlace your fingers, and then pull them back until your chest starts to lift up off of the floor. Pick your ears up out of your shoulders to lengthen all the way through the spine. And then if you want to, you can lift the legs. And then once you have the legs up, just pay attention to what may have happened to your breath. If you've still got that moving, take one more breath in. And then as you exhale, lower down. Take your hands underneath your shoulders, push your hips off the ground, push your heart off the ground, pull back towards child's pose. You might let your hands slide back, resting your head down. One more breath out. Starting to pick yourself up, and you're going to walk your hands a little bit further forward so you're in that long table pose. Take a nice breath in. And as you exhale, lower down to your belly. It doesn't have to be smooth and graceful. You're going to keep the hands down just behind your shoulders. Pick your arm bones up. Stretch your chest forward with just as much open space as you had in your locust pose where you were pulled back here, but you're just going to keep your hands in. And then soften down. Take your hips up off the ground, push your heart up off the ground, pull back towards child's pose. When you get here, take a breath in and a breath out. And then we're going to do that 2 more times. Lift yourself up, walk the hands forward so your heart comes out above your thumbs. Take a breath in. When you exhale, lower down to your belly. You might have to slide your hands back a little bit. Inhale to a cobra pose, lifting long through the body. Exhale, lowering down. Keep your hips up off the ground. Push your chest up off the ground. And then press back to child's pose. Stay here as you breathe in. Stay here as you breathe out. Then lift up, walk your hands forward, take a nice big breath in. As you exhale, lower down to your belly. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, lowering down, and then pick your hips up off the ground, push your chest up off the ground, stretch back to child's pose, and then come up onto your fingertips, just so you can crawl out a little bit longer, find some more space across the upper back. Feel free to bend your elbows and feel free to bring your hands maybe wider than your mat is, if that's what your shoulders are asking for. Give them the space that they need. Feel this breath moving the back sides of your ribs and really expanding the back of your torso. One more round of breath. And start to lift yourself up. Walk your hands forward again, this time curling the toes under and pressing back into downward facing dog. And when you get back into downward dog, can you still feel that expansiveness across your upper back? You might put a little bend in your elbows and deliberately turn the elbows down to the floor. Try to release the control over your head. One more breath out. And bringing your feet and your hands towards each other and just gently bringing yourself up to standing. A couple standing shapes, just a little bit of a flow. This first one we're going to do quite a few times, the first part of this, just because the first time that you do it, it might just seem very awkward, and like the fifth time that you do it, it will probably also seem awkward, but maybe it's something that your body's become a little more familiar with over time. So take your left leg and lift it up, and you'll just stay standing on your right leg. Ooh, goodness. And then you're going to reach your left leg back and your heart forward. Little visit into warrior 3. And then go from warrior 3 to warrior 2. So you're just going to bring that left leg to the back of your mat. Bend into your right leg. Take your arms out. So there was round 1. And then by many steps or just one step, you're going to come back up towards the front of your mat. And then take your left leg, so same side. Lift it up. Maybe you lift your arms up this time to get a little longer. And then stretch your left leg back and your hands back and reach your heart forward. And then little bend into your right leg. Bring your left foot towards the back of your mat, finding warrior 2. And then make sure you're not holding your breath. And then look forward. Step it back up to the front of your mat. Could be many steps. And then lift your left leg up again. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, reach the leg back, send your heart forward. And maybe this time you get all the way back a little bit further into your warrior 2. Check out that your front knee doesn't fall in. It really wants to, and you want to keep it out over that second toe. And you can take a couple scooches, come back to the front of your mat. Last time for a little while, take your left leg off, lift your arms, and then stretch the leg back, reach your heart forward. See how it goes, coming back into your warrior 2. And then check it out. And once you feel you've got pretty settled there, good alignment of your leg, arms are open, chest is lifted, go ahead and straighten into your right leg and lift both of your arms. Nice and long here. And then you're going to shift the hips over and come out into triangle pose. Go ahead and let that right arm come down, open up through your chest. Reach the ears out and away from your tailbone. One more breath in. And you're gonna bend into your right leg, take your left hand down, come up onto your left toes. You can leave your right hand at your thigh as you twist over towards the right. You might lift your right arm into the air. We won't be here for a long time. Just try to relax that right hip back a little bit. And then you're gonna take your hands down. You're gonna start to stand up. Maybe you come all the way, to lifting the left leg up in front of you. Then you're going to stretch the left leg back again. Last time moving from warrior 3 to warrior 2. Step it back, see how it goes. This time, straighten the legs, turn all 10 toes to face up towards that wide side of your mat. Lift your arms up, breathe in. And exhale, fold it down. Bring your hands down somewhere that's comfy to you. Relax the back of your mat. Wiggle around if you like. Gently shake your brains out perhaps. And start wiggling your feet a little bit closer together. You've got hip width apart, bend your knees. See if you can roll up through your spine. Eventually coming up to standing. And then we'll just go right through from the other side. So you'll stand on your left leg, lift your right leg up, and then see if you can lift both inner thighs, just getting a little bit more stacked towards the front, and then reach that right leg back and your heart forward, and keep reaching that leg back, moving back to a warrior 2. Once you find the warrior 2, make sure it's the warrior 2 where your leg is turned out and those outer thigh muscles are engaged. And then by 1 or 72 steps, come back towards the front of your space. Again, lifting the right leg up, maybe lifting the arms up this time. And then sliding that leg back, reaching your arms back, reaching your chest forward. From here, moving back to warrior 2. And I would say like 99 out of 100 times you will not land in precise warrior 2 placement. Probably more accurately 999 out of 1,000 times you will need to do a little bit of wiggling to find the warrior 2 when you land in it. So go ahead and come forward because we're gonna go from that warrior 3, wiggling again. Take a big breath in. Reach that leg back. Ooh, there we go. Lots of wiggling. This is the side that I wiggle on apparently. And then reach it back, find warrior 2. My goodness. Ooh. My body just learned a lot about what it doesn't want to do. So back one more time. I can't count, but I'm pretty sure this is 4. Be wrong. Might as well get another go at it. Go ahead and lift up and then reach the leg back, long through your spine. Reach it all the way back. Oh, there we go. Still wiggling, but there it is. Once you get here, you're like, okay, there we go, warrior 2. Again, more wiggles. And then straighten into your leg, lift up through your spine, shift your hips back, come forward, triangle pose. Let that top hip roll over a little bit. Don't worry about how far down your left arm gets. Try not to fall into your left shoulder. One more exhale. And look down at your left foot. You're going to bend into your left leg. Take your right hand down. Come up to your right toes. You can leave your left hand at your left thigh, but look over to the left. Maybe you do lift the left arm up, just a little more outer hip stretch. And then you're going to bring your hands on. You can scoot your foot up. You're going to come all the way to standing. Ooh, lifting the right leg up again. And then it's last time through this, reaching the right leg back and the hands back and the heart forward, and then see what happens moving back to warrior 2. This time you can go ahead and straighten the legs, turn all 10 of your toes to face out towards that wide side, and then come down into a fold, facing down in between both of your legs. Check out what might feel stiff, tight, resistant, and whether or not you might be able to relax more into those spaces. And start to wiggle your feet in a little bit closer so they come in more like hip width apart. Bend into your knees. Try to let your spine be soft as you roll yourself up to standing. And then once you get up to standing, we're just going to take tree pose on either side. So take a foot, bring it on the inside of your leg. It can come up higher if you want to, but remembering that space on our back where we would tend to kind of like lean back into the cushy part, and then I'm no longer a fully stacked tree. I'm like a tree kind of tilted over. I'm going to lift up. Feel those hips going forward, engaging the abs this way. Put your hands wherever you like. I like hands at heart, but change it up a little bit. Ooh, maybe falling as you keep looking around at the screens and stuff. And then go ahead and switch sides. So you're going to set that foot down, take the other leg up, try to lift up and forward. Being willing to go out into the space that may be slightly uncomfortable and may require a little bit more strength and burn. Tapas is the fire. It's the burn. It's the heat, the continuous do. And then of course we balance it with do less sometimes. Go ahead and set your foot down when you're ready. Give a little wiggle into your hips. Come towards the back of your space. Take your hands, shake them out a little bit. Wiggle your fingers out. And then say to yourself right now, I give you permission to have your knees bent. I can bend my knees all over the place. Don't need to be doing straight legs. So now that you've given yourself that permission, give yourself as much bend in the knees as you need to bring your hands down. And then start walking your hands forward until you're in like a really, really short down dog. And then walk your hands forward so that you're in like maybe the down dog that feels a little bit more comfortable. Like it's honestly still probably pretty short. And then try to bring your hands a handprint further forward. And if your body's saying, oh no, this is terrible, go back to the handprint back. But if you're just kind of feeling maybe a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit of heat, a little bit of work has to be at play here, then go back with your hands, start walking all the way back towards your feet. And in fact, take your hands up to your ankles just to make sure, or your shins, just to make sure that you're not pressing down to those hands anymore. You can even take one and wiggle it out a little bit. And then you're going to start walking your hands forward again. Again, very bent knees. Go towards, you're like, okay, well this is my comfort zone. There's nothing wrong with your comfort zone. You should be comfortable quite a lot, but maybe you can bring your hands a little bit further forward. Just kind of play with it, and maybe it feels better here, or you feel very tired. And then go ahead and walk your hands back again into that fold. Bring your hands up onto your legs so you're sure you're not having to bear weight on those wrists. Relax the back of your neck, and then for the very last time we'll walk forward into your downward dog. And this time I will let you know, probably your comfort zone is already a little bit longer than it was before, but still see if you can bring your body just a little bit longer. One more breath out. And gently lower your knees down, widen them, and come to sit back into child's pose. If it feels good to bring your arms in, maybe fold your forearms over and rest your head on your arms. You can do that. Anything you like in child's pose. One more breath out. And start to lift yourself up and come into a seat. If you want to sit half up on anything, a blanket or a small cushion or anything, go for that. Send your right leg out. Just have your left leg folded in a way that's comfortable to you. And you may find that your knee is like all the way up here. If you need to adjust your foot, check that out. You don't have to have the knee dropped all the way down to the ground. Take your toes and lift them up on that right leg, and then turn open and twist up and over the right side with your toes lifted. Just stimulating a little bit more extension. One more breath out. And come up. Relax your toes, and then you're going to go forward in between your thigh bones. Just coming in, feeling probably pretty deep hamstring, inner hamstring on the right side. Breathing out. And walking it back. And we're going to switch sides, sending your left leg out, drawing your right leg in wherever it's comfortable to you. Lift your toes, open yourself out towards the right side, and then bring that arm up and over. One more breath out. Lifting and twisting over towards your extended leg. Relax those toes forward. Oh wait, you're gonna go in between your legs. I'm messing up. In between the legs. Relaxing the toes so you have just a little bit more softness in the hamstrings. One more breath out. And start to lift yourself up. And then pull your left leg in. You're going to take your right leg up. Just go ahead and hold on to it. And you can have just your legs kind of tilted up like this. If you can get your right leg crossed over your left thigh, you might have to like adjust the flesh a little bit. So like, this is a place, this is a place. Either of the things are just fine places to be. I'm going to take a twist over your right leg. So I'm going to hug my elbow. I'm going to turn over in that direction. One more breath out. Then release your twist. You're going to take a little counter twist over towards the left side, just a small one. And then come and face forward. And you're going to uncross this leg if you had it crossed. This left leg, you're going to bring it out so it's kind of sort of like parallel in front of you. And then just because I know it's going to help a little bit later, scooch it back like 2 inches. And then take this cheek and scooch it back. And then hold on to your right leg, pick it up, and move the thigh bone around. And don't move your shin bone around because that's going to mess up with your knee. You want to move the thigh bone around. You just see the shin moving because it's in front. And then you're going to take it, hold on to the foot. What you want to try to do is shorten the outside of your ankle. Because if you pull it in, then that's a place where your knee can give birth. So shorten the inside of your ankle, outside of your ankle, that side. And then you're going to bring your heel over towards your knee. And then you're going to hold on to your right cheek and you're going to pull it back. And the action of you pulling that hip back is going to get this knee a little bit lower. And it's still not going to be completely lower. So you're going to take your right hand onto your right foot and twist over towards the left side. And as you do that, as you press your foot into your hand, it's going to open up a lot of this. One more breath out. then turn back towards the front. Now, if you, like me, still do not have things stacked, because that's the tendency to find ourselves in, pull that bottom knee back a little bit more. Try to keep that outer ankle short, and you can hold on to your leg. If your body says, wow, that sounds like a really nice thing that I may do at some point or never have any desire ever to do, and you want to sit crisscross applesauce for a little bit, go for it, because that's still a fairly deep hip opener and a good place to rest. But if you feel okay here, if you're able to breathe here, you are breathing into the fire. It's called fire logs. So you're going to be here for a few breaths, seeing if anything relaxes, if anything becomes just a little bit more tenable than it was when you first imagined stacking your shins on each other. Let's say 2 more breaths. And gently release your right leg off from your left leg. Move the chihuahua. And then you're going to take your left leg or your right leg and you're going to set it down kind of like it's parallel to the front of your space. And then you're going to scoot your foot back in a little bit. And then you're going to take your left leg and you're just going to wiggle it around. Oh wait, no, we didn't do the twist on that side. Okay, my bad. Scooch this in. You're either going to drop this left foot down or cross it over. It doesn't have to be crossed over. It can be just tucked in. Goodness, missing things. The twist was important so that we could release the low back, so maybe the hips would accommodate this bizarre thing I'm asking of it. One more breath in. Deep breath out. And releasing your twisting it over towards the other side. Ooh. Just for a little bit. Back to the front. Now uncross the leg, and then this foot needs to open up at least a little bit away from you. It doesn't need to be fully like parallel to the front of your space. You can scooch it back an inch or 2, and that will help to start off with. Grab this leg, and remember you're not moving the shin around, you want to move the thigh around, and you can even, if you're not sure if your body's going to listen to that, just hold directly onto the thigh. Just kind of clearing some cobwebs out. And then you're going to take the foot and you're going to hold on to it, shorten the outside of your ankle, and you're going to bring it down towards your knee. Take this left hand and pull the flesh back. And then left hand to left foot, twist away from that top leg and gently press into the top leg, so it's kind of moving back away from your twist. It's a very subtle, small thing. It's not a lot of big shifts that are taking place there, but it goes a long way. There's a lot here in the hips. One more breath out. As you turn forward, like this is the side where my legs want to stack a little bit more. You might tuck the foot back a little bit more. You might feel good about remaining here, holding on to the darn legs for dear life. If you're perfectly reasonable space to be, coming into crisscross applesauce is also a wonderful place to be. If you're in crisscross applesauce and you want more hip stretch, fold forward. If you're here and the heat is not as high as you want it to be, also fold forward. Soften something as you breathe out. Gently release those legs, unwind them. Come right down onto your back. Widen your feet a little bit more than hip width. Let your arms flat back behind you. Lift your toes to your shin. Drop both knees over to the right, the left leg being fairly lifted, and in fact maybe actively extending that left knee out and away from your hip. One more breath out. And taking your legs up and moving them over towards the other side. So your left leg is down, your right leg is kind of reaching outwards and away from you, opening up the front of that hip. One more breath out. And coming back up, once you get to center, tucking your knees in, giving yourself a hug, maybe rocking a bit side to side. And moving from there into a twist of your knees dropping to your right, your arms opening up so that your left shoulder can relax, so that your belly can soften. One more breath out. And bringing your knees over towards the other side, just twisting the other way. Wiggle whatever you need to wiggle to feel balanced and settled on the other side, and let your exhales soften your body. One more breath out. And coming back into the center, set your feet down and knock your knees against each other, bringing a hand to your belly and a hand to your heart. Take a moment to give yourself a little appreciation for the fact that you just spent this time repeating some things, have the persistence to make it through an hour of your practice, and back to practice after knowing this whole thing is very weird and sometimes hard, and maybe you feel a little bit better for having done it. If there is anything else that your body needs you to do, any other adjustments, ways that you like to get set up and cozy for Shavasana, go ahead and seek that out. Start just relaxing into a space. We'll rest here for a few minutes before wrapping up together. yourself start to wake up, become a little more alert. When you're ready, rolling yourself over to one side. Pausing for a moment of gratitude for having this practice, and being able to come back to it again and again. And then when you're ready, finding your own version of a comfortable seat. Sitting however it makes sense for your body. Practice releasing and om together. Big breath in. Bowing down to the love, the light, and the darkness that resides within each of our hearts. Namaste. So much, friends.
Thank you.
Thank you.